one thing that I always take pride on is flying my mom first class. I remember the first time that I did it, I was with her, and she's like, "Wow, mijo, you know, this is like very nice seats." I'm like, "Yeah, mom, don't worry about it. It's okay." And oh wow, they bring you a hot plate too. I'm like, "Yeah." She didn't even realize that she was in first class. And I never told her, matter of fact. I never told her. Like, I never told her, "Mom, you know, we actually flew first class," you know. I run a business in Miami, Florida. We represent clients like AT&T. Prior to do direct sales on my own, I was working in the service industry. I worked at a restaurant that was family owned, and the family sold the business, and I had 5 years working in the restaurant. And at that point, I went from cashier to bartender to, I've been there for 5 years bartending, and they kept hiring new managers. And I kept training new managers, and every manager that was coming in, they had no experience in bartending. So I had to also teach them how to bartend, and then on top of that, they became my boss. So I kept training managers. I trained over 7 people. And finally, I told myself, if I have to train one more person that is gonna be my manager, that is gonna quit the job, I'm out unless that position is for me. And obviously they hired somebody by the name of Mandy. I'm like, this is it, I'm out. The next thing you know, I just quote unquote put my 2-week notice, and they just took me off the schedule. Before that, at the age of 14, I was actually cleaning pools for my uncle. And I never really had like an hourly job ever. Like all my jobs have been a little bit of commission based. So the way my uncle would pay me was $20 per pool. So when I first started, I was bad. I was cleaning like 2 pools on a Saturday and a Sunday. But then after 2-3 years of doing this, so when I was like 16, now I can do this faster, I was cleaning 5, 6, 7, 8 pools a day. So now I'm making like 140, 160, 180 at the age of 16 and just cleaning pools. Then when I found my first quote unquote job after working with my uncle, I work at a fast food restaurant, and I was quickly moved to the kitchen, and I started working in the kitchen. And Robert, that was his name, Robert's like this, "Hey Tony, so you're gonna be cleaning the oven every time that we grill the burgers, or your job is gonna be to clean the oven?" I'm like, "Okay, cool, sounds good." So all I knew was cleaning fast, because I learned that with working with my uncle, do the faster you get paid more. So I'm cleaning super fast the oven, and the guy Robert goes like, "Tony, slow down, you know, you're going too fast. Slow down, we get paid by the hour." And I'm like, "What do you mean we get paid by the hour?" "Yes, you know, take your time." And I'm like, okay, this is different. So, all right, so I'm supposed to take my time on doing things. And then next thing you know, 3 school buses pulled up like 30 minutes later. And then Robert's like, "Tony, you need to hurry up now. Now you need to hurry up, you know, because there's a lot of people outside." And so that's what I quickly found out, okay, so you do need to be fast regardless. It's just so that I'm paying by the hour. So I lasted 2 hours in that job. After that, I just, no, this is not for me. So that was my first job that I quit, 2 hours. So I tell people all the time, we are a production-based opportunity. Okay, what you produce is what you're going to get. So personally, I always had the work ethic to understand, you know what, the harder I work, the more money I'm gonna make. And it is not so much how long you work, it's more about what you do with that time. Do you use it effectively? Because you can do things, you can keep yourself busy for a whole day, but does not mean that you've been productive. Or you can just be very organized and tell yourself, you know what, from this time to this time, I'm gonna do this. From this time to this time, I'm gonna do that. So the way that I run my business, I do the operational side of my business in the mornings, and usually after 12, 1 o'clock, I do calls, because I like to mentor others as well. I'm in a position where I help other entrepreneurs also. I'm a consultant also for what we do in the industry. I come from a family of businesses. My dad simply didn't want me in his business. So he said, "You are too smart. You have a brain, you're gonna go to school." However, my brother didn't have the same luck. My brother, he was put in the business to run the business. And what we did is we did a transportation business. My dad simply didn't want me to get my hands dirty. So I never got to work with my dad. You know, sadly but truly. Everybody else in my family got to work with him except for me. So my biggest motivation at first was to do something on my own. Something that I need to prove my dad that I can do it by myself. I don't need him to give me a job in his company. I can do it by myself. And that's kind of how I started going on my own. I moved out of the house at the age of 16, okay? A very young age, simply because I just wanted to prove myself right, in a sense, you know, not so much proving wrong. It was like, I need to prove myself right that I can do it. And that's kind of how I started doing a lot of things at a young age. I have several people that I'm grateful for. One is my mom. I take a lot of pride in my mom because we lost my dad. When I was getting into running my own company, my dad passed away, and that took a lot of energy out of me. And my mom, she has never worked in her life, so I was like, somebody gotta take care of her, and that was one of my biggest motivations. One thing that I always take pride on is flying my mom first class. I remember the first time that I did it, I was with her, and she's like, wow, mijo, you know, this is like very nice seats. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it. And oh wow, they bring you a hot plate too. I'm like, yeah. She didn't even realize that she was in first class. And I never told her, matter of fact, I never told her. We just sat down. I'm like, Mom, you know, order as many Cokes as you want, you know. She just kept ordering Coca-Colas. I'm like, she loves Coca-Colas. At the end of the day, she didn't even realize it was first class. And I don't think she even understands that every time that she travels, because she travels all the time. Like I'm in Florida, but my main family is in Texas. And my family originally is from El Salvador. So she's always traveling from El Salvador to Houston to Miami, and she doesn't realize every single time that I do that for her. I do things now that I wasn't able to do. I mean, I remember that I used to fear going to restaurants, and the first thing that I would do is look at the menu. I was like, how much is this? Okay. Now it's like, all right, which restaurant I want to try this week? All right, let's go check it out. And I love food. I don't know if you can tell. So I love eating. That's one of my things, right? And I always like to try new restaurants. So I like the feeling of going to a restaurant and feel how much the price will be. Whoever's with me, whatever you want, that's fine. What has surprised me the most about being a business owner is how your mindset is so different than the average person. And what I mean the average person is someone that expects something to take care of them. Versus when you run your own business, you gotta take care of everybody else. So for example, when COVID hit us, okay, I took my business went backwards a lot, right? But not at any moment, never crossed my mind, what is gonna happen now? To me, no. The first thing that came to my mind when COVID hit was, holy smoke, what's gonna happen with my guys? So the first thing that I did was trying to figure out what can be done to generate income for everybody else. Because I was okay during COVID. I knew I was gonna be okay, but I was like, my guys, I mean, I know my guys' situation, most of my people, right? I know that some of them didn't have the best situation economically. I'm like, what's gonna happen? At this point, we don't know what's gonna happen if the government's gonna help out with money like they did, right? And I grabbed a couple of the guys, the people that I knew that they had a stronger mindset, and I'm like, guys, okay, let's brainstorm real quick. What can we do? So we started like going online, trying to figure it out, and we started doing certain things just to generate income. And next thing you know, obviously, right, things changed, with the government helped out, but yeah, we were generating income on the side. Meanwhile, until something got a solution, because we're not gonna be left out. So I didn't take the mindset of, let me take money from someone. It's like, let's make money from someone. So that's the biggest difference. Like when you run your own business, you wanna take care of people. And when people are not running a business, they just think for themselves, hey, what can I do for me? Like, what do I need to do? And that's what I would say the biggest difference in running a business and not running a business. I don't think they have a negative perception. I would say more, they just don't know any better. So most people that talk bad about sales, they either haven't done it themselves, or when they tried it, they didn't have the proper coaching to do sales. So anything that you have not tried yourself, you're gonna have an opinion of it. That doesn't mean that it's a fact. So some people are gonna be like, no, I don't wanna do sales. I don't wanna be selling out there. How do you know you haven't tried it? I generally say that everyone should try at some point to do sales. I tell my family all the time, like the younger generation, I tell them, okay, you gotta work in the service industry for at least a year. You gotta do sales for at least a year. After that, do whatever you want. But you gotta do, because the service industry will give you communication skills, will give you interaction, and you're gonna talk to everybody. You're not gonna be fearful to talk to people. And selling, I mean, it's gonna give you the gift of gab. It's that simple. Selling is gonna give you the opportunity to talk to people that you will never probably talk to in your life. And I think that someone who was trying to get into any industry, I would say, the restaurant, the service industry will give you that character, and sales will give you the edge. Okay, especially if you travel. I think that has helped me a lot. I can literally communicate with anyone. Another mistake that I see entrepreneurs do and business owners is they socialize too much versus coach their employees. And sometimes what happens is you're not gonna run a very sound business when things get tough, because when things get too tough and all you have developed is a personal relationship with everyone else versus just coaching your employees to do much better for themselves, and then you cannot coach the right way. So COVID, for example, right? The people who survived in my company were the people that were more mentally tough versus the people that they were just there for a paycheck. So with those people that I didn't have a good relationship with, that it was just work relationship, they fade off. Then the people that it was just friends with them, they also fade off. But then the people that I had a well balance of, I know them personally, but I also coach them all the time, those people stick with me because of that reason. So a lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes they just go either to business or to friend. So you just make sure that you're liked, but you're not make sure that you're actually coaching the individuals that work for you. And another mistake that I see people is, I call it the virus of know-it-all. Sometimes, because you run your own business does not mean that you know everything, because there is always going to be out there someone that does a lot better than you. And unfortunately, I like to talk all the time about, I tell people all the time, you got to stay neutral the entire time. Like if you're on a high, like if you're doing really good, like don't think that you're the best person ever, because trust me, somebody else is doing a better job than you are doing. Not only that, it's gonna happen, it's gonna be backwards as well. There's gonna be one day that you're not gonna be doing so great. So what's gonna happen then, right? So you always gotta stay neutral, whether you're doing really good or really bad, you just gotta stay composed all the time.